Today I'm trying out every level of jar opener, starting with the cheapest, this wooden spoon, all the way to the most expensive. I guess the question is, does it get easier as it gets more expensive to open a jar, or is it just a bit jarring? Oh yes, we went there. One of the most common questions I get asked is, do I have a favorite jar opener to recommend? I think it's like one of those most really useful gadgets. So of course, please, before commenting down below, some of these might be a bit quirky, but generally a jar opener in particular can be game changing. So the plan is to work through them. I'm gonna do like a progressive ranking system, and then maybe at the end, refresh it again to see what is the best value, which actually works, which should be probably in the bin, and which could actually be game changing. So our first one is literally, see what we did there, free, but last night I went on a little bit of adventure to get our jars. To go along with the completely unnecessary jar puns that I might have already included in this video, and also the fact that it's quite cheap here. Yeah, you guessed it, we're going to lid all for our jars. Yep. There's a lot of jars in there, but I wanted to get the same one for consistency. And I also bought a load of bolognese jars because, well, who doesn't love pasta? These last for a long old time. I'm not gonna make another 100-layer lasagna again. That's pretty good, but at least I know over time I will use all of these. And the first one is free, a wooden spoon, like I say, literally free. But it's not the only one. I did a video where you can actually squeeze with the palm of your hands either side of the jar, and it does pop the seal. But yeah, I'm not gonna do that every time I say that word today, okay? Yeah, you can go back up there, mate. But yes, this free one, a wooden spoon from your drawer. That's all you need. And all we do is give it a swift whack on the side of the lid there, and it should pop it. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, there we go, second time lucky. Did you hear that? Awesome, that works because, a little bit of encouragement, the jar, it's like a drum roll, is open. I'm running out of jar puns. I don't know Star Wars that well, but Jar Jar Binks would be proud. Next one.
Jar Jar Binks!
Is that the noise it makes?
Yeah, Jar Jar Binks!
All right, so our first gadget is by a company called Tala. This is kind of like a little rubber mat. And you can get different variations of these, some more rigid than others. God, it feels really smooth. Like one side is completely smooth actually, just so you can see that. But the other side is where it's got a little bit of a pattern there. Looks a little bit like perhaps like a tablecloth at your nan's. And that is what is gonna grip our jar. So a positive review from Jane, 5 stars, great for my daughter to take to university. I mean, sometimes when you go to university, you might want to take, I don't know, like a speaker, like a TV or something like that. No, she's taking a jar opener. But to contra that, we've got Tim. 1 star, has no grip, and there were lots of reviews like this. I can't open a bottle with it. It just spins as the rubber has no grip. It's about as much use as trying to use a plastic carrier bag to open things with, which is really disappointing for this brand. As I say, they're super well known. So let's try it. All right, so let's look at the leaderboard. No pressure, but the wooden spoon is currently in first place. That might be because it's the only one we've tested, but let's have a go. It does feel, like I say, very smooth. I can only hope that they were using the right side. Goes around it nicely. Big enough to probably cover loads of different jars. Here we go. So you do need your other hand here still. I mean, that's absolutely fine. I'm not slipping, I'm not using a carrier bag. That's fine. I don't know why it's got the hole on there. Maybe you want to hang it on your wall like some sort of budget picture frame. But actually, yeah, lid's come off. Looks pretty decent. I think that's not bad, but I think some people would actually struggle with it. But despite all those reviews of it being slippy, for me, that goes in to first place. Yeah, so just to show you, this spoon would definitely work on any size jar. I guess that's the flexibility of it. But also, so with this, but what about this? This is quite a cheap metal adjustable jar opener. I don't know, what's that musical instrument where it's like that? Do you know, Hugo?
No idea.
It just feels quite cheap, but basically, oh crikey. You could literally get a jar. If there was a jar that existed the size of a fingernail, you could probably open it. It doesn't feel too comfortable on the end there. That looks more like a whistle. It actually, okay. Jar opener, whistle. So yeah, it doesn't feel that great, a little bit sharp on the edge, but it is cheap. In fact, there's a little bit of a dent in this one, but you can adjust it here and it just locks down there. Whatever you bite it to, it should open. So 4 stars from Amazon customer. In the words of Doc Brown, it works. Very handy for weak hands. Was that a hand pun? Need one for champagne corks now. Well, there are gadgets for that too. But genuinely, that is what we're after. So you take your adjustable thing here, you go down. Oh my gosh, the tension, listen. It's like, how big's the jar lid? a bit rough and ready. Okay, so on there, you then push that to the lid to bite it there. Okay, make sure that's down. Okay, that's fairly tight. Oh dear. Oh dear. No! No, I'm gonna have to go narrower. Oh gosh. It won't bite anymore. Oh, okay, you need to go one in, and I'm actually making... Oh! It popped the seal. One more by okay? So now... Ah, that's quite good. You've got the leverage, you still need your other hand to steady it. It feels really angry and barbaric, and it should be a sort of like more rounded on the edges. It was a bit uncomfortable, but what you do is you take it to the closest point and let that push in and bite to the lid. I think, again, some folks would struggle with that. To do that, that was like not easy. Oh! I'm not sure if I like that or hate it. I mean, ultimately, it did open the jar, and I think it's got way more flexibility with the leverage versus the rubber one. So yeah, that's going into first place, but I might try this again later. So next up, we've got this rubber strap wrench version, and I've seen many different versions. In fact, I've tested other ones that are more expensive, but for this budget price range, we've had to go for this one. It also smells like a garage. I feel like I could use that as tread on my bicycle. It's absolutely ginormous. If you've got a jar that size, I mean, I could probably tame a small lion with that, in case I ever get a lion in the garden. It's actually gigantic. You grab it on there, you pull it tight, and there are better versions of this, honestly. So if you're interested, reviews for this one. Darren says jar lid remover, which is what it is. Functions as described, but a bit hard to fit to lid and hold in place before applying pressure. And then Mark Orchard, 1 star, very weak, broke within 2 minutes during first use. This bodes well. So let's give this a go. I'm left-handed, so I kind of want to get the grip thing around the top here. Okay, so that's on there. We can actually take the jar for a walk. Boston's getting very jealous. All right, so let's get that on there. I mean, that is quite non-slip. They talk about that first one, that rubber mat, being not like that. Okay, so I have tightened that on there. So what it is, it's that gripper there, that leverage there. You want to bite into it, and I want to, oh my gosh, no, because I want to go righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. But for a jar, it's righty to unlock it, isn't it? It's righty-loosey. But let's get that nice and tight. The action is making me push the serrated bit there to go left, and I'm actually tightening it. What? Oh, hang on, have I got it upside down? All right, that's better. That's better. Okay, okay. Gosh, this is really weird. Come on. Okay, there we go. And as a left-hander, okay. Yeah, I can do it left-handed, right-handed too. We just need to make sure that strap is tight. It feels better to do it with my left hand, so steadying it again with my right. Oh, that was a good pop. And actually, again, a little bit like the metal one, you had that leverage. It felt a little bit more cheaper than our metal one. I mean, I liked that was also part-time musical instrument and the fact that it could be a whistle. But I think this one, despite the cheapness of it, it's got a way comfier grip. And once that was latched on there, I think just about, and we're on track with justifying this. The price is about going alongside with the ease of use so far. Have a smell of that.
Oh, it smells like a car garage. It stinks.
It really does smell of it, but like I say, I wasn't sure then. I was mulling over, should we keep the metal one in the top one and put it in the second one? But we will put that back up because I know you get much better versions of these. A little bit more expensive, but hopefully they don't smell as bad. All right, so next up is this stainless steel under-counter jar opener, and it's quite weighty. It feels strong. It's got serration there into a triangle so it can adapt to loads of different jar sizes. So there's instructions on the box, but basically in here, along with a thank you card, I like getting a thank you card in a gift, we've got some adhesive pads. These look like the sort of things that you stick on the bottom of a sofa or a table to stop it marking your floor. There we go. Now, if I was doing this in my house kitchen, Mrs. B would probably not let me fix this to the base of a unit, but we're committed now. I'm going to keep this because we are going to fix this under one of my actual units. There we go. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was going to put it up the wrong way then. Make sure that the triangular opening is facing outwards. Otherwise, you're going to really have difficulty opening your jar. Right, there you go. Hey, that looks pretty good under there like that, doesn't it? I mean, it could do with a bit of a clean with my finger marks on it, but we'll carry on. All right. Last time I used this, we had some fun with an avocado. Oh my gosh. Oh, yes. Ugh. Yep, that is on there. Well, that is not coming off. All right, so before we try this one, 5 stars from Clissy. Open jars with ease. I have a problem opening jars and bottles, but this is so easy to use. It opens them with no problem. I have mine under a unit, so it's not seen, but access is good. Kind of like me. Valerie H with 1 star. Useless if you have arthritis in one hand wrist. The only way we're gonna find out is by taking it here into the triangle, and then we turn. Oh, yes, wrong way, Barry. And did you hear that pop? There we go. Did you hear that?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's like actually a real solid pop again, one-handed. I mean, I've got to say, look, that is super loose. And I think arguably that was one-handed what I did. It was good. I mean, I turned it the wrong way at first, but then straight away, it gripped it, it bit it nicely. Again, I didn't really want to do it as we get up in price. I didn't want this to be first, but the fact that I've now got a super convenient jar opener that no doubt we'll use in future videos, or I will forget it's there and you guys remind me, probably a true story. I really like that. And that, so far, is going to the top of the pile. All right, so next up is the jar key, which I have actually reviewed before, and it does claim to be the world's easiest jar opener. I was impressed before, and in fact, some people 3D print versions of these now, but it does have mixed reviews. Mrs. Ludd sounds like a school teacher. Easy to use, just breaks the airlock so the jar will open easily. That is literally the design. It's just supposed to pop it and you move on. Amazon customer, 1 star, not useful as intended. Does that make sense? Wasted money. The part of the key that is intended to lift the jar without damaging it is too thick to grab the lid. It cannot grip it to lift off the lid. An old-fashioned paint can opener works much better. And there were lots of reviews like that. It's more positive. Most of these generally are positive, but that was a common thing. It depends on the jar. In fact, this diagram here does show you quite well. It's supposed to just fit on the lid, but you can see like how that has got its limitations. It does actually feel like, now that I'm having a look at it again compared to some of these, despite the budgetness so far, that feels quite cheap too. And this wasn't that cheap. So here we are then, that familiar jar from before. So just to show you again, you've got the lip just on the bottom there, but it's also these stumps here that will hold it in place and help you lift it. Are you ready? What? Oh, we got there eventually, but the fact that I had to do that twice, and that does feel like it wants to slide off. I mean, we've popped it now, but we've still got to actually give that a little bit of effort. Oh, I don't think that's the #1 jar opener in the world. In fact, I'm not going to put that at the top. It doesn't smell like a bike tire. I had to use both hands. I think that's important. I had to stabilize it and still had to give a little bit of effort on the lid. Okay, I'm not going to put it beneath the ratchet one because this doesn't smell, but I have to say that under counter one right now is winning. All right, so next up is a multi-grip jar opener, and there are various models of these available. This is kind of like medium budget range. It is kind of flexible, right down to the bottom here where you can do a bottle cap. We might do that in a bit. One side is smooth, but if we come in here, you can see the serrated edges all the way in there. So where it's got that recess there for each of your jar lids, it will fit in there, and then you can kind of bite it. So you're kind of stuck in some ways, but at the same time, it should be fairly flexible. So 5 stars from Leslie. Very handy gadget, good for me as I can never usually get things open without others. Now I can open things alone. So that's quite good. I mean, I still feel that you're gonna need 2 hands for this one. And then a 1 star from Miss Martin, another person that sounds like a school teacher. Not good, broke the first time I tried to use it. And it does feel like quite well built, to be honest. So maybe Miss Martin is a bodybuilder. All right, so here we go. We have to pick, I wonder actually, yeah, that's too narrow. So we do have to go for the wider one here. Let it bite. Oh, I do like that, look. That's very cool. It's probably one of the first today that's actually self-gripping. I mean, we could argue that one is, but that is on there, it's doing it. I don't really need much energy to hold it on there. In fact, I think I could probably, oh no, I do need to hold it. That would be amazing. We do have to grab it a little bit, okay. Hey! Again, you've got that extra long leverage on there. In terms of the flexibility of it though, I don't know if that'll fit every single jar. So I can't put that at the top. No, for the time being, I'm gonna put it in 3rd place under the jar key because I think, and we'll test that, this might not do everything. Next up is this battery operated automatic jar opener, and I reviewed one of these years ago and I've really liked it. In fact, whatever people have asked me, it's generally been my go-to jar opener because of the simplicity. It can sit on the jar, you press the button and it does it all for you. Now there's so many different variations of these online. It is battery operated, as I say, so when I was in Lidl last night, I needed to get some AA batteries, and just as an aside, going in Lidl, the Duracell batteries, I think they were slightly cheaper. Does that mean they're like slightly lower quality? Hopefully not. But yeah, the batteries just go in like so. It is as easy. Ugh! Hello. They work. So let's see what others say. Ronnie, 5 stars. Easiest way to open glass jars. This is the best thing ever to open glass jars with lids. No struggling ever again. It does it all on its own. Brilliant invention. And that is probably my initial thoughts when I've used it before. There's this 1 star. I think that's Ilsa. Ilsa F. Utter junk. Doesn't work at all. Look, check this out. Here it is. I don't know what that is. That like tomatoes? I'm not worried about the jar contents just much, but there you go. It's supposed to close. And look what happens. They're actually steadying it with their hand just to try and hold it in place. They let go, and as the motion starts to turn, it just wants to do its own thing. That is not opening a jar. Thumbs up. Oh, there you go. Oh no, I feel sorry for it. It's falling off. And it's gone. Here we go. Oh. What? The model that I had previously, you just press the button. Oh, there you go. We got there in the end. I don't know how it decided to be like, oh right, you want to open a jar now? What I do like is it did it. I probably could have got away with not holding it, but what I like is it opened it, but then not only did it pop it, it actually kept turning it. So we should be able to take this off now. And look, that is just straight off. There is no turn whatsoever. It's done every bit for us. Still, despite that initial hesitation and that very interesting video, that is going to the top of my pile. I think for lots of people, if you get a good version, that could be exceptionally useful. So this is our most expensive jar opener today. This is an electronic USB charged jar opener. Now it does say when you first get it, it needs a 2-hour charge. So I plugged the USB cable into the wall, it illuminated blue, and that has what it's been doing whilst we've been looking at these other openers. I mean, the other thing to say is it does have a bottle opener at the other end and also the ability to hang it on a wall. Not that I've got enough jar openers there, but it reminds me a bit of the rubber mat. We've actually got like that little hole thing. Maybe we are missing that from all our other jar openers. I don't think so. Now I do want to give a little shout out to something called a Black & Decker lids off, and there's loads of them on eBay. The shipping was 150, so to get it here, it's big and bulky, and effectively it grabs the jar, turns the lid off. It looks proper retro, but it does do the job. And in a strange way, it's basically this, but in a compartment about 4 times the size. And I think that's something we need to take into account with this. I mean, this is big and bulky. Now, interestingly, the only reviews I could find of this were positive, which normally means that the 1-star ones have been removed or they've relisted it to start again. And actually that photo there does not deter me any more than thinking that looks like some sort of animal. But that is the arm of Sneha Munirajan, 5 stars, and they've titled the review, Usage. Product is very good to handle. Never expected this kind of product as it's easy to open the bottle. Bottle? Jar? Okay, we'll give it some slack. This better be worth the money. All right, so here we go. We stick this on. Oh my gosh, actually that is all closed. These are the gears. Shove it on, we press this down. Okay, so it's bitten it, and now that will just hold. Okay, that's strong, isn't it? Look at that. One-handed, but again, I need 2 hands. The leverage is insane. Here we go. Oh, that's good, but it still needed a bit of give. And then we just go, give me back my lid. It makes this weird sort of like, as if it's given up, and that does not bode well on the first use. Right, I would say it didn't fully take it off as well as that. It's unnecessarily bulky. We've got a bottle opener. It looks like it can work on different jars. I don't hate it. I'm gonna put it underneath this one. So before we determine our top ones, I've got something else up my sleeve to combine with that last one, and it's not even a jar opener. I know it's not gonna be like, ta-da, Barry pulls out a wooden spoon. Inside here is a set mold of stabilizing jar openers. I found these online. It's fairly expensive of what it is, but it could be game changing, particularly if you only got use in one arm. I also found like chopping boards for people with one arm. I've ordered one of those, which I'll show in a future video because I think that could be amazing. Maggie Price gave this 5 stars. Wouldn't be without this. Helps me open jars and bottle tops every day. To contra that, Stefan Grossel with 2 stars. Distrust. Not for the elderly. Stay in the closet. Now I hope they're talking about this and not an elderly person. Yeah, just shove them in the closet, that's fine. But there are lots of different versions of this. Oh, it's quite rigid actually. Ooh. You've got these inserts for little jars. I've got one more jar left and it's like Cinderella with the slipper. Oh, that's too, oh, will that go in there? Oh no, it's gonna break it. It doesn't fit it. No, I spent loads on this. Hang on, I've actually got another jar. So I'm actually on team this isn't that great now, but the theory of it, oh, that bites in there. Okay, that's good, but why doesn't that fit? I mean, can we take this out? Oh, I think these are supposed to be in there though. Just make sure I'm not going mad and you can use it with or without. Oh, these are grippers as well. Oh my gosh. So literally, I like a rubber one at the start. So it's actually, this is definitely gonna fit, is it? I mean, it's sat on there. But that won't sit in there. That's snug, I like that. That's bitten it, but that's a bit dangerous. We'll go with it anyway, because danger's our middle name, right? So the plan is you're supposed to just use that now and turn that off. Of course, that's probably gonna work. But my plan is, say you've got the use of one arm and you stick that in there, you then grab this, you stick that on there. Oh no, because then you've still, like, it's still moving. And no, that's not, but oh my gosh. This was the better model that I saw. I reckon there should be one where it's sort of got that in there, where it's got the ability to pinch it. When instead, I've now still got to use my other arm. That was just a bonus one, but that could be so much better. And I've no doubt that these work, no doubt whatsoever. Unfortunately, despite this being potentially game-changing, having some non-slip feet as well, that is pretty much like a potty. Okay, so to be fair to it, it doesn't actually promote this, but there are some little holes there at the bottom of it, so it does look like you could potentially screw it into the worktop and achieve that one-handed result. Now, for me personally, if I screw that to my worktop there, I'm gonna have holes there forever. Also, I don't think I want it there for every other video I'm gonna do in here. Does that sound sensible to you, Hugo?
It does.
I think so. We're gonna be sensible. So I'm not gonna rank the spoon. For me personally, it's actually quite useful, but certain people might struggle to use that. So in last position so far is that rubber wrap thing. I actually thought it wasn't too bad. I certainly didn't get that slippage, but you know, you still need to use quite a bit of force. The next one was that metal one, which was half musical instrument. What I liked about that was that ability to pivot and kind of give you that extra leverage. It was a touch barbaric though. Next up was the tire smelling wrench. I know you can get better ones of those available, so that's not too bad. Certainly flexible. After that is the gripper. I mean, it's big and bulky. It's not the most comfortable. I did just want to show you the flexibility of like how you can get a bottle lid like this and literally open it like there, like that. Easy peasy. So it's all right. And you have got that flexibility a little bit for these different sizes. In 4th place, we've got the jar key, which I didn't mind. Look, this is the smaller jar, what people were saying. Oh, see? It did it for me, but then you still need to give, and that is uncomfortable. You still need to give it quite a bit of welly. So in 3rd place at the moment is that under counter one. 2nd place, our USB one, and 1st place, once we got it working, was the battery operated one. So let's just try it on a few more things. So look what I like about this one, straight up there, into there, turn it, boom, that is done. You just need one arm, nice and strong. But what about actually if we get this, okay, oh my gosh, did you hear that? It just popped it from pressure. I want to do this fairly with all of them, so I'm going to do it up as tight as I can. Ugh. Let's try that on there. Oh my word, easy peasy. Do you know what? As I do this back up as tight as I can, that one has now jumped into 1st place. All right, USB one again on the small jar. Oh, it does do it well. What about the kahuna? Will it even fit on there? Yes, it will. Like a glove. I say that, a lot of people are like, well, that doesn't make sense, like a glove. It's gonna be my new catchphrase for the next 2 weeks or so, all right? Just go with it. The only thing with that though, the only thing is that is a one-arm operation. Yes, you've still got to do the leverage of that a little bit and you've got that there, but it's big, it's bulky, it's so much more expensive than that one. I'm sorry, mate, you're going into 3rd place. All right, one more. Let me just get these onions. Yes, come on. Ugh. This is the one. Come on. We can just... We got there in the end. I'm going to study it a little bit. Yeah. Hello. Absolutely remarkable. I mean, pretty darn noisy, but I love how loose that is. It's literally off. And okay, I studied that a little bit, but I didn't really need to. It's quite simply, if I can get it to work, hands-free jar opening. Jeez! I mean, I've got to be honest, I did that up as tight as I could. My granddad would be proud of that. Absolutely incredible. Right, I've got a clear winner. In 3rd place, I'm sorry, it is the USB. In 2nd, and actually, if you don't need that entire no hands motion, that under counter, it's there. It's gonna stay there. We'll probably use it. I love the flexibility of it, but this is our winner today. I mean, arguably, yes, it's a little bit bulky and we had to get around the thing. You press the button a few times, it wasn't working straight away. There are other models available. Normally you get a bit of a clicky noise with it, or sometimes they have an on and an off for retracting a knot. But truly, in terms of value for money, the simplicity, the effort, I think that I saw it. It was hands-free. I'm gonna put a lid on this video now. I did limit the jar puns, okay? I did my best. I hope you found this useful. Hope you found it interesting. Maybe share it with someone you think would too. Cheers then. I'll see you later.